Yo, replay that shit.
Welcome back guys to Keeney KTV. In this video, I want to go over the Kamaru Usman vs Tyron Woodley fight and give my opinion on why and how the fight played out the way it did. I believe going into this fight, Kamaru Usman was a type of fighter that was not going to be given a lot of credit for all of his accomplishments inside the octagon, whereas we had Tyron Woodley, who just came off of a dominant victory over Darren Till in a pretty highly anticipated fight. So for Kamaru Usman to go in there and dominate the champion the way he did, it only makes me wonder why so many people were shocked at the way the fight played out. So with that being said, let's jump right into the video. If you are interested in the songs that I use for my videos, be sure to check out my Discord in a link in the description. But getting back to the video, in hindsight, it only made sense for the fight to play out the way it did. To begin with, let's take a closer look at Tyron Woodley and the type of fighter that he is. But mainly, I want to focus on his fight with Rory McDonald, because in that fight, Tyron Woodley's blueprint on how to beat him was pretty much laid out in that fight. It only took the right opponent to execute the same and similar game plan to beat Tyron Woodley. Woodley is a fighter who doesn't mind having his back close to the cage. He doesn't mind you pressuring him. In fact, that is what he prefers. Because Woodley is a bit on the shorter side in the welterweight division, for him to come forward the entire fight, he's pretty much really giving up all of his height and reach for the hope of being close enough in range to land a big right hand and stun his opponents. Instead of coming forward and looking for the right hand, he has built a game plan where he has all of his opponents walk into the right hand shot, and where the opponents do not do that, we have to see that those fights were actually his worst performances. Whether it be the Demian Maia fight or the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight, the reason why those fights played out in a pretty slow pace and in quote-unquote unentertaining way was because of that reason. Wonderboy Thompson rarely walks into shots. He's always moving, being light on his feet, and even when he was pressuring Tyron Woodley, he was quick to be in and out. And that really bothered Tyron Woodley's timing to a point where he could not really time his right hand shot. And that is really all that Tyron Woodley has in his arsenal when it comes to the stand-up department. That beautiful, powerful, fast overhand right. And as mentioned earlier, if you don't give Tyron Woodley the opening to land his right hand, he pretty much is not going to go out of his way to chase you down to land that right hand shot on his own. So when it came to the fight with him and Darren Till, it didn't come as a surprise to me personally that he knocked him out the way he did. Because Darren Till is the type of fighter that will come forward and really throw shots with mean intentions. And that is exactly what he did in that fight. He came forward and he threw his jab and immediately loaded up on his left hand shot and went through with it all the way. And keeping in mind that Tyron Woodley can only really counter one attack at a time, he's not really good when you're loading up on shots that are in combinations. The more you chain combinations together, the less you give Tyron Woodley the opportunity to counter you. And that was mainly the reason why Stephen Wonderboy Thompson had the success that he did. Because when he came in, it was always a 3-punch combination and he was always quick to get back out. But when it came to Darren Till, Darren has a style that is pretty singular attack heavy, so it is a lot easier for you to counter one shot over 3. And that is why he was able to knock Darren Till out the way he did. Now, why these fights are of importance is because we have to categorize the opponents that he has faced. For Demian Maia, he didn't throw a lot of punches, okay, so he didn't give him a lot of windows. For Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he came in with punches, combinations, and he was back out again. For Darren Till, he threw one shot at a time, which gave him openings from the counter on. Then we have Rory McDonald, who had the most dominant victory over Tyron Woodley to this date, up until Kamaru Usman beat him. So by this point, I believe it is safe to say that throwing one shot at a time on Tyron Woodley is probably the worst way to approach him. And that is why I believe McDonald was able to have the success that he did. Because when he had Tyron Woodley up against the cage, he was not throwing one shot at a time. He was mixing up his combinations, transitioning from striking to grappling occasionally, that really made Tyron Woodley gun shy. Tyron Woodley, in essence, didn't even get a chance to get into the fight because of the opportunities that he did not have. McDonald was not giving him any openings. Every punch that he threw was a combination. He didn't give him an opening to a point where he could maybe shooting for a takedown. No, because he shot him for a takedown himself. So he put Tyron Woodley's back against the cage at all times and made him work, pretty much keeping him on a defense the entire fight. And that is what Kamaru Usman is known to do. So for him to go in there and apply the same tactics that Rory McDonald applied and do it better, it didn't really come as a surprise to me personally. The fight starts off and Tyron Woodley immediately is on the outside of the octagon, close to the fence. And it was very apparent that from that opening, he was only looking for that one big shot. But really, Kamaru Usman was never the type of fighter that would load up on all of his shots and look for a knockout. No, he accumulates damage and wears you out throughout the fight. He had the height and reach on him, add on top with good cardio and a good output with a steady pace. It was bound to happen that Tyron Woodley was not going to get a chance to get into this fight, because even though he doesn't have quote-unquote stamina issues or has bad stamina, he does tend to slow down. But slowing down against a fighter who doesn't slow down is going to put you at a massive disadvantage, as it did. And being taken down by Kamaru Usman over and over again is definitely not going to be helping your case. So in hindsight, it shouldn't have come as a surprise that Kamaru was able to do what he did in this fight to Tyron Woodley. But in the end, this was the real reason why Kamaru Usman was able to beat Tyron Woodley the way he did. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to drop a like on the video if you guys haven't. Be sure to subscribe if you guys are new. As always, I am Keenan from Keenan KTV, signing off. Later.